Welcome everyone to the Moistski news for January the 18th, 2021. Today I'd like to talk about an article tweeted out by the Financial Times, titled UK Workers' Rights at Risk in Plans to Rip Up EU Labour Market Rules. This is in and of itself quite fascinating for a number of reasons. One, because even though I voted Leave, I have consistently said over the last 4 years that the Work Time Directive, EU labour market rules when it comes to workers and their rights, I fully support, and felt it needed to be enshrined in UK law. The Conservatives have always said, but our rights and rules are better than the EU's, going so far as to say we will continue to strengthen them, but to do so is a bit of a contradiction to Conservative Party values, which raises a number of questions, all of which I hope to address in this video. Understandably, when it comes to the Financial Times' tweet, the majority of people underneath have commented on fishing, because that seems to be the big one. That's more important than workers' rights, even though it is a part of it to an extent. It does demonstrate the level of narrow-mindedness from those who want to focus on one thing and obsess over something else to try and pwn cause. I think we'll move on to the article because the tweets are trash. Worker protections enshrined in EU law, including the 48-hour week, which I believe falls under Work Time Directive, would be ripped up under plans being drawn up by the government as part of a post-Brexit overhaul of UK labour markets. It would be very difficult even for a majority Conservative government to implement this because of those unions. Yes, they back Labour, but if workers go on strike and enough voices go against this, which I'll be honest, it does go a little against the Conservative manifesto from the last election, where they won a number of Labour heartlands which are majority working class. So a very small part of me is sceptical, while at the same time thinking this does sound very Conservative. The package of deregulatory measures is being put together by the UK Business Department with the approval of Downing Street, according to, and here's the source, people familiar with the matter. This got enough traction that the business secretary himself retweeted it, saying we are not going to lower the standards of workers' rights. The UK is one of the best workers' rights records in the world, going further than the EU in many areas. We want to protect and enhance workers' rights going forward, not row back on them. It is worth saying, until the government releases the paper it is allegedly working on, we can't say with absolute certainty if the source is reputable or not. We shouldn't really be pouncing on something, though, without anything to support it. But that's okay. The Shadow Business Secretary, Ed Miliband, has, the former leader of the Labour Party, by saying the question is not whether the government wants to weaken worker protections. They do, but whether they can get away with it. The fight against their attempts to do so is a fight about who we are as a country, along with an article that he has written for The Guardian, another reputable tabloid. Before we get to Ed Miliband's article, though, what are the main focuses of this alleged change to workers' or labour market rules? One would be ending the 48-hour working week, adjusting the rules around rest breaks at work and not including overtime pay when calculating some holiday pay entitlements. It is also alleged the government wants to remove the requirement of businesses to log the detailed daily reporting of working hours to save an estimated £1 billion. The government claims that any reforms will be designed to help both companies and their employees, and to put a full consultation, saying that it had no intention of lowering workers' rights. This does handily tie into the EU, though, because the EU have decisions, and they can in fact get involved here. For example, they can in fact trigger tariffs as a rebalancing measure if there is a positive judgment should the EU ever proceed to an EU court or European court, if fair play rules are being manipulated. Because if workers' rights are being reduced here, then the labour market changes in the UK, which goes against the withdrawal agreement. And labour market rules, believe it or not, are a core issue of a level playing field, but it does depend on whether they believe they are negatively impacted should those alleged changes come into effect. Boris Johnson has a monstrous Conservative majority, so he can in fact implement this, but because of the areas where Conservatives are newer, they would only be one-term MPs then, because it would be a career suicide to support anything that weakens workers' rights, or can be played off as such by Labour when the next election cycle takes place. To address Ed Miliband's article, the key takeaway point is he believes the Conservatives are attempting to deregulate workers' rights as a race to the bottom. That was in fact a talking point from when Ed Miliband himself was leader of the opposition, and something mentioned quite often by Jeremy Corbyn. It is a sensationalist term, and there has been nothing yet that could confirm such a thing was happening, but it is what they believe will happen. I know I've simplified, and there's a lot more to it. I've got an archive link in the description down below. By all means, give it a read. But that is the key talking point, surrounded by very sensationalist rhetoric that I really don't care about.